Hi, welcome to The Buzz with Joe D. I'm Joe Davidson, been with the Sacramento Bee since 1989, about that high. Certainly was pre-internet. The joy of the internet now certainly is that we're online every single day, and we have this fun show every Tuesday live. It's also archived. Join us every week and get to know some of the student athletes, the teams, the themes, the trends, the news, what's going on every week right here on The Buzz with Joe D.
I think I look better in studio, more relaxed, and outside of this. But, welcome, everybody. It's good to have everybody here. This show is a bonus for subscribers. We're going to do this week's show. We're going to do next week's show, and then we're going to take a summer break, and we'll come back at the end of July or early August when football is up and rolling big time. So it's good to have everybody here. Excuse me. Academic year is winding down. Normally this weekend is when CIF state track is happening. It's usually when the section baseball and softball champions have been crowned. We don't have any of that because of the pandemic, wiped away any playoffs for at least for this Sac Joaquin section. We've talked about that. We'll talk a little bit about it again here. Was that too premature? Yes, in hindsight, but it was the board of managers, representatives for each league, that voted, let's get these spring seasons in and not worry about the playoffs. So they're going to have to be, I don't think we're going to have a pandemic anytime soon. So I think we're past that hurdle. High school sports does go year round. We're going to touch on that with our guests and colleagues and coworkers and Jim Patrick and Cameron Salerno, including the dead period. The NC2A dead period is over. That means since last March, because of the pandemic, let's keep people away from people. Everything was Zoom, and college coaches could not allow on-campus visits with recruits, nor could they visit on campus. That's a big deal. You can only get so much off of film or in Zoom. These coaches would rather see these prospects in person, whether it's volleyball, softball, soccer, football. To watch somebody in person is to, you can see their body language, and are they coachable? You can see their size. Do they pout with the referees and argue with coaches? And those are deal breakers. What we would suggest here is be mindful if you're a high school prospect, or if you want to be a prospect, keep your social media clean. Don't post anything troubling or boorish, or be really mindful of what you hit on like or retweet, because somebody's watching. Could be an employer, could be a junior college coach or a small college coach, or it could be Urban Meyer, and while he's with the NFL. So we'll go with some other heavy hitter in college football, Justin Wilcox at Cal. So be really mindful of what you post on social media, because it does reflect you, and it can be a deal breaker, and it has been many times. So our guest today is Scott Tedman, who goes by Coach and Your Honor. He leads a small school basketball powerhouse and works in another court and another bench as a judge. There he is in his other element. He's with the Sacramento Capitals, the small school powerhouse in Carmichael. We've talked about Brecken Beeman, number one there, and he's a 2,000 career point scorer. And so we're going to catch up with the judge, His Honor, to talk about why it's such a big deal to coach, and how he balances his job, and the joy he has in coaching this guy. And he's very matter of fact saying that Brecken Beeman is as good a player as this area has ever seen, or certainly would be on the short list of all-time great players. And we certainly champion small school success and achievements. He's a small school star who's done good things, went over 2,000 points. And when I met with Coach Tedman earlier this season in January to watch them work out, they didn't think they were going to have a season, and there were a lot of long faces. They did get a season in. He leads the section in scoring, Brecken Beeman at almost 30 points a game. So that's going to be a lot of fun to catch up with Judge Tedman, His Honor, our honor. First, let's talk on high school football. It's always going on. There's always coaching news. Last week, it was Casey Taylor. He's a big name around here for a lot of years. Casey Taylor's now the Oak Ridge football coach. There he is holding a section championship banner. He's won 7 of them, including this one at Capital Christian, 15 years at Del Oro, 6 section championships there, won a state championship, almost won another one, and then takes the job at Capital Christian. It was a 10-year contract, unheard of in California. Those are year-to-year at will deals. He lasted 3 years, won a section championship, 3 league championships, got Capital Christian right on the map in Division III after so many years at small level. He's a big-time impactful coach, and then they laid him off. And so then he wound up intercom for the spring season only. And then here came his alma mater. Oak Ridge courted him, and I think he had every right to listen. I think it's good business to listen. It looks like a lot of jobs in the last few years, which is true, but he's also pursuing other things. Did not anticipate getting laid off at Capital Christian. That is something that's in the court system right now. There might be a breach of contract. So, so interesting at Casey Taylor going to Oak Ridge. He played there. He was a 1988 graduate there, and he got his coaching start at Oak Ridge. And the outgoing coach is Eric Cavalier. They're longtime friends. And this is kind of a clever strategic move where Cavalier is still going to be within the program. Coach Cavalier just didn't want to be a head coach anymore. We touched on that Sacramento Bee on this incredible amount of people who are coming and going. All right. Our guest today, speaking of good coaches, is here's a fun one. We get to know Scott Tedman of Sacramento Adventist Academy, and we're going to talk about what his career is about and the joy of coaching a 2,000 career point scorer in Brecken Beeman. Here's the coach. All right, Scott, it's good to catch up to you. I see you're wearing your Sac Adventist shirt. You want to show that off a little bit?
There you go. Baby. Come on.
There you do. There you do. Oh, you've seen a lot of basketball over the years, small school, large school, Sacramento. You've been to state championships. So I've seen you up in Golden One. You've seen kids from Southern California, Bay Area. You're a longtime fan. This Brecken Beeman is the deal, 2,000 points. I know you're proud of him. What makes him just pop, and what's his future?
Well, what makes him pop is his competitive greatness. I mean, you can see the stats. I don't have to go through all that. But the kid is a winner, and he will do whatever it takes to win. That's just the bottom line. He is as close to the perfect star leader and teammate as you can imagine in any sport anywhere. And that's just the bottom line with him. He cares about winning. He doesn't big league his teammates. He's part of the fabric of the team. If he has to score 35 to win, he'll do it. If he doesn't have to score at all and distribute, he'll do that as well. The other thing I would say is he's not a great small school player. He's a great player that plays at a small school. I think there's a big distinction there. I think he should go down on the list as one of the greatest players to ever come out of Sacramento. And I really mean that. That is not hyperbole. This kid is that good. And
I love it.
I'm so proud of him. He's a 3.9 student, terrific kid, and he's going to do damage in college, whatever college he chooses to go to. He's big.
No, it's excellent. And on the general theme of winning, and you and I banter back and forth. Let's just show what that might look like here. I don't want your rebuttal. Oh, here he goes. Oh, he comes in running hot. Yeah,
stuff, Davidson.
Jim Patrick will approve of this.
Patrick
yes.
and I are Twins fans. We're not front runners. We're not bandwagoners. And I tell Jim right now, we may win a playoff game before we die. I'm not certain of that, but it could happen. So
I love it. I love it. You can go by Coach Tedman or even Judge Tedman, Your Honor. You have an interesting side job, or maybe actually your main job, really, since we're on the record here, with a different court and a different bench. Explain that and how you balance it and how much fun all of that is.
Well, I don't sleep, so that makes it easy. Beyond that, my whole thing and what I've told my kids, I certainly tell my team, Brecken's a perfect example of it, is find your passion and pursue it. Pursue your passion with purpose and with everything you've got. And I love what I do. I am very fortunate and privileged to be a judge. I'm serving the community. It is not my courtroom. It is the courtroom of the people of the county of Sacramento. That's how I look at it. I have been given this unique opportunity, and I pinch myself every day going to work that I can serve the community and do the best I can as a judge in whatever assignment I have. So that's part of it. The other part of it is I love the sport of basketball. I love athletics. It's been a part of my life since I was a little kid. And to be able to take this opportunity to put what I have fully into these players as people and also as athletes is just another privilege. I am very blessed, to be honest with you. It is just a great gig to have. And I couldn't be happier. I'm supported by my wife, who lets me do all this. I need to note Terry in this because without her support, I couldn't do it. And I'm just very fortunate to be around great kids and to have a job that allows me to serve the community.
All right. That's I love the guy. I've gotten to know him the last several years. He is a terrific coach. His kids play hard. They're fundamentally sound. Won a section Division 6 championship, won a Northern California Division 6 championship. And Brecken Beeman, in his first big moment as a freshman guard in a section championship, didn't score any points, but dominated the game by just being a playmaker. So really cool there. So, all right, let's bring in our, I know we got some little brush back here from my another Twins fan, but let's bring in Jim Patrick. What do you got, Jim? You got somebody who's on your side about being a confused, displaced Twins fan. And before we start talking here, Jim, I asked Coach Tedman, or Judge Tedman, I said, hey, I'm a carpool violator. I tend to do rolling stops on stop signs. Can you give me a solid? And he says, I'll get back to you on that. So I don't think I think I'm on my own there.
What is the point of this job if it doesn't pay off with,
perks?
What? I mean, I'm not sure why. They pay us. That's right. I forgot.
That's right. Yeah, so we could be, exactly. So,
hey,
well,
Joe,
welcome. You're looking
out, I didn't run upstairs to put on a Minnesota Twins sweatshirt. I can't find my Minnesota Twins hat that my wife stole from me. I do want to point out the bunting that she put up over the weekend, over the door there for Memorial Day. We have reached summer here in the Patrick household, and it's basically Twins baseball all day, every day. I actually had to turn off the TV back there where I was watching highlights.
Well, and I think your beloved dog Daisy probably made off with your hat, and that would make her in tune and in touch. Yeah, exactly. So, Jim, I talked earlier on the show about the dead period is over for recruiting, meaning there can be in-person recruiting. You're working on a story later this summer on transfers. I think all of it's kind of connected. Too many times kids transfer because they think they're going to get a better offer somewhere else. We're kind of under the belief that, hey, go to your neighborhood school, but with the dead period ending, we're back to normal, right on down to how recruits work, and college coaches, whether it's softball, football, basketball, baseball, whatever, they like to see prospects in person, and they like to bring prospects onto their campus to show them what they have, as it's right onto the junior colleges. The JCs and all those sports are also super competitive in the state.
Yeah, and it's worth noting the recruiting period is firing up right at probably what I would argue is the most important time for recruiting, summer, because this is when the club teams are out on the road doing, at least for softball, which I've been covering, they're out doing tournaments. They were doing tournaments last couple of weekends already for club softball teams. So here we go again. The pandemic isn't over, but it's kind of over. Certainly feels like that from a work standpoint, doesn't it, Joe? Like we're just
it does
miles an hour all of a sudden.
Well, and it's the most bizarre spring. Sometimes you and I will run into each other and say, man, I'm winded. Wow, we're doing football and basketball and baseball and softball all at once. And, we're going to pat ourselves on the back. We thought, if they're going to have a scoreboard, they're going to have referees, and they're going to play these games, even without section playoffs, then we'll rank these teams, and we'll have all Metro teams, and we'll do players of the week, and we'll do voting polls because, it matters. And we've touched on that in the last few weeks. I think the efforts have been just really impressive. So kudos to those kids for, giving everything they have, because a year ago at this time, they didn't have anything.
Joe, I know Joe and I went around. I don't remember how strongly either one of us felt or what exactly the discussion was, but I remember saying to you that, this stuff matters to the kids. I covered Laguna Creek softball a couple weeks ago, and the kids are telling me how thrilled they are to be ranked in the Sac Bee's top 20. And to us, it's a job. It's a job we care about. It's a job we like doing, but it is a job. But we do it because it matters to people. This is, the heart of our community in a lot of ways is the athletics that's going on at the high schools. So. It's just this is our way to plug into that and to be involved with that. And, I just love doing this stuff. I love talking about rankings. I love talking about individual athletes. I love talking about recruiting, and I hope it shows in our coverage.
No, I think it does. And it's so great to have a sports editor. And you and I just met each other for the first time just a few years ago and a couple of years ago. And then you jumped in and you're from, roots in Minnesota or Florida or Utah. And then here you are. Exactly. And we've touched on this before, Jim, but the competition here is pretty good. This is a big metropolitan area. It's reflective in on all these large schools and some of these large enrollment schools are 3,000 students. I don't know how big are the large schools in Utah, where high schools are big, and certainly in Florida, or do they have schools in 3,000 students?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's certainly bigger than anywhere in New England that I lived. I mean, there's just no comparison, the volume. But my high school in Minnesota was the biggest high school in the area at 3,500 students.
Yeah. It's a small town.
Yeah, I mean, this is a traditional farming community called Stillwater, Minnesota. I'm sure we have a ton of Minnesotans tuning in to watch this. But as Stillwater's like 10 miles, the district's like 10 miles by 20 miles, and they built a bunch of houses, and now it's this gigantic high school. So yeah, I mean, our schools are big. Bottom line, they're big. There's a few schools, your Binghams, your Altas in Utah, that are in the California size range. Those are the national power football teams have come in particular. Florida, I mean, I would say we're on par in terms of size. We're talking about thousands of students. You know, Pete Dufar, who does our softball rankings, was writing about the small school that is Sutter the other day, and the enrollment is a mere 700 or something like that. And I started.
It's probably not even that big. No, it's
700 is pretty big, like in the rest of the world, but not here. Not here.
No, exactly. Let's take a peek at those softball rankings that Pete DeFore does, our good friend here. And let's take, Rockland's probably got 2,200 students. Sheldon's up to almost 3,000. Roseville, before all the opening of schools in that area, was 2,500. It's probably now 1,900. Elk Grove's about 1,900. And then Sutter, number 10, is probably in the 500 range. Bear River, Colfax are just below 600. So there you go. And so it's just kind of neat that all our softball rankings reflect large schools, medium, and small. And there you go.
Yeah, and so look at Sutter. We always say win games if you want to move up in the rankings. And there's Sutter at number 10, despite being one of the smaller community schools. So, we try to leave the door open to certainly anywhere in the rankings for a team to make a name for itself. That bottom half, there wasn't a ton of volatility at the top half. Rockland and Sheldon were number 1 and number 2, I think, the first rankings, and 10 weeks later or 9 weeks later, here they are 1 and 2 again. Roseville crept up, Elk Grove backed off a spot, but in general, the top spots were really solid throughout the year. So hats off to Pete Dufar for really nailing his rankings. The bottom half, we saw some movement. Oakmont dipped out of the rankings, then they moved back up. Sutter went on a tear. I don't even remember where they started the year, but they might not have been in the top 20. So that's where the movement really was this year. And Joe, we get them all back next year pretty much. I mean, there's I think are graduating in the entire metro area. Maybe 5 girls are graduating. They're all coming.
And I think that's great. And check sacbee.com today. All week we've got polls on who's the player of the year, the people's choice. And we'll be running those all metro teams here in the coming weeks. Jim, always good, my friend. We'll see you soon. And we've got vacation just around the corner. I don't know what we're going to do with ourselves.
I'm excited. I'm going to Maine to eat lobster. That's my.
There you go. Show off. All right. We'll see you soon. Okay. All right. With that, let's bring in another good jovial sort than Cameron Salerno. He does our baseball rankings, does a great job. I did them for 30 years. Was glad to turn him over to Cameron. He's just doing a terrific job without the benefit of section playoffs to kind of figure out who really our best teams are. Cameron, good to see you. Let's get those rankings up here really fast, and let's take a look. I got a question. So here,
that's basketball.
That's actually basketball. Actually, hold those right there, and we're going to change that typo. So this is basketball. And I just wrote a story that's going to post later today or tomorrow. Who is really the best team? It's Jesuits, the preseason number 1, has not lost a game, just beat Elk Grove. And Elk Grove did not play most of the game with its best player, Dejon Lott, 6'8" powerhouse guy who blew out his ankle. What about Capital Christian? So take a look at that. There's those interesting debates there. This season's pretty much over. The Capital Athletic League still has a couple of games. That's with Capital Christian. Capital Christian is scheduled to play at Bishop O'Dowd of Oakland, the NorCal number 1 preseason team this Saturday. But some of those out-of-county games are kind of tricky there. But let's see if we could get let's drop in the basketball rankings, and maybe they'll come up as baseball rankings. And let's see what we have.
There we go.
There's basketball. Okay, I think we just what we're gonna do. How about the girls rankings? We're gonna find a girls basketball rankings.
Yeah, and I just want to add a note.
Yes, please.
The Cal is for baseball is playing till June 11th, I believe. So they're past summer vacation. I mean, I don't know when all those schools graduate, but I mean, I assume they're going to be well past graduation. So it's interesting. I think we brought it up last week how Jazz didn't want to schedule another game, or it was hard for them to schedule a game because most of these kids have already graduated. It's
Right.
hard to control kids maybe after graduation. And so it's really interesting that some schools are ending the season, like for example, like Bandit and Vacaville ended the baseball season in the end of April, and
Right.
some teams are playing till June 11th. So it's just kind of the craziness of the season, and it's really hard to do those rankings and obviously all Metro teams with no playoffs, because playoffs really determine if a kid stars in the playoffs, he goes 3-0, he leads his team to a section championship, then man, that's a kid who is up for player of the year.
But because all Metro is not an all league thing. All Metro is the entire season. And years ago, we used to run the all Metro teams at the Bee right after the regular season. Okay, I could see that argument. But then we really pushed to have them at the end of the entire season, because with state football or section football or section baseball, basketball, whatever sport, boy, those guys, like you were saying, Cameron, those guys could really separate themselves and put themselves on a team or become players of the year, because your playoffs, I mean, Cameron, in the 80s and 90s, it was a real goal just to get to a section final. I know you were, pre Cameron Sloan, but it was a real goal just to get to a section final. Now the elite programs are thinking we want to get in the state championship. Everybody says that, but there's just a small collection that could say it without people laughing. Folsom football, Grant football over the years, Granite Bay football, Del Oro. Those have been programs that have been in state finals, so they could say those things. And state basketball, Oak Ridge girls, McClatchy girls, Kennedy girls, have Elk Grove girls have been in state finals. But for most teams, it's really just trying to get to a section final is a real big deal. And Jim Patrick and I were talking about this last week, Cameron, is for a lot of schools and a lot of coaches, the league championship is still their primary goal. So it's interesting. This year, hey, you're just trying to win any game because you don't even know if you're not going to have a playoff. So you just
what the crazy thing is normally the section final for baseball, as I remember, is normally that Saturday during Memorial Day weekend or that Tuesday or Monday during Memorial Day weekend.
Exactly.
And so the section finals probably would have been either like yesterday, today, like it would have been interesting to see who would have gone. And that's what makes the whole all Metro really tough to do, because like you said, playoff success is huge, and we need that to really determine and separate. Because if on the surface, a lot of teams are playing 28 games, some teams are playing 10 games. So the real question, and it's kind of a question that's a hypothetical, how do you determine if someone in 12 games is better than someone who played 28 games? I mean, obviously,
or for girls basketball, you have McClatchy girls ranked. There they are at the North 3. How can you have them ranked at 2-0? This is the only games they could get in. And Laguna Creek and McClatchy are league rivals. Would have been a great showdown. They could not schedule games against each other because the Metro League had just so many stop and starts and the gym usage and frustrating. And so Grant's in the Metro League, but Grant played only a independent schedule. So there you go. Yeah. And I think there's no doubt about Antelope being the number one team all season. Yeah. Only loss was to Salesian of the Bay Area, but couldn't get any of these other teams. That Antelope and Folsom couldn't get a game. Antelope and McClatchy couldn't get a game. It's easier said than done.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the Laguna Creek girls team. I forgot them my rankings last week. They were ranked. I was doing my rankings. Whenever every week I try to copy and paste, I thought to myself, I said, I'm forgetting a team. I'm like, I knew I was forgetting a team, and then I had. You're
a hater. You're a hater. It's exposed. You're a Placer County guy who just doesn't care about the Metro schools.
No, a Placer or not Placer County. Laguna Creek parent messaged me, and I fixed it. So I want to give a shout out to them. They were not forgotten in my rankings. And I'm kind of ready for that summer vacation, kind of like you are. I mean, I think we're a little tired. I know there wasn't really, like, as far as like games, there wasn't a lot, but in that short period of time covering basketball, baseball, softball, and also keeping up with all the other sports going on, it's crazy.
Coaching changes. I mean, I haven't reported on so many coaching changes in a whole academic year as I did for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks when a number of football coaches were moving aside or moving out or moving on, and head football coaching and all that. But Cameron, we will see you next week. Keep up the good work. And Cameron Salerno does our baseball rankings. He does a top 25. We do a sample teaser size here. So check him out on social media. Check him out on sacbee.com every day. We have stuff every day as well from all of us because we love this region. It's worth covering. We appreciate the viewers. We're going to have our final show of the spring next week. Special thanks to Kamario Roberts and Jim Silva, our Cameron Clark, our producers behind the scene, David Caraccio. We are lost, dazed, and confused without them. We already are, but they really save our day. So thanks to everybody. We'll see you all next week. Be safe. Stay cool.